They are putting these houses up fast and cheap. Fast and cheap is the name of the game. Fast and cheap. Beware.
Breaking news as Lennar Homes, the #2 biggest home builder in the nation, reports that all lockdown price gains have vanished, with home prices dipping below 2019 levels, while at the same time, just in order for them to sell at those prices, they have to offer an additional 14% towards insane buying incentives. Now, this has trapped millions of new home owners in their homes as they no longer have the ability to sell their homes. And as these rate buydowns continue to mature, you're going to see waves of foreclosures, short sales, and loan modifications. Now, the housing market is crashing badly, especially in certain areas surrounded by new home construction. Now, this morning in our live video, I was able to show you a home listed for sale with over 42% in wedge in the same tiny housing market that I kept you guys in to study for the last 3 years. Now, I traveled around the nation for 2 years, pleading with people to pump the brakes, warning them of this catastrophe. Now, one of the primary reasons I quit my W-2 job was to pursue a career on YouTube and travel to report what was happening beyond the mainstream, boots on the ground. And I made this Metro Report playlist that you see on your screen, not only to prove that we were right, but also to prove that we were the very first people on the scene. The people who purchased a new home while I was out there making these videos have lost everything they thought they had when it comes to home equity. So please, you guys, learn from their mistakes. Come here, watch these videos, and look at this first one right here. This was over 2 years ago. New construction fire sale in Las Vegas, Lennar bankruptcy epicenter. We have everything here. There's a video on Seattle. There's a video on Phoenix, Austin, San Antonio, Sacramento, Dallas, Denver, Colorado, Houston, Utah, Idaho, Nevada, Vegas, another one in Phoenix. We went back out, El Paso, Georgia. Then I meet up with Melody. We do some in Charlotte, Raleigh, Washington, D.C. Ring a bell, you guys? We went there. Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, Huntsville. We went there. We showed you. You guys should be fully warned. And I've been waiting 2 years to make this video to show you guys that we were right the whole time and that if you waited, you did the right thing. Mitch Vexler. Happy Tuesday evening. Stock market's really crazy right now. My question for you, sir, you ready to go?
Isn't it interesting that since I've been involved for the last 10 and a half or 11 months with Travis, I've been pounding the table that this fraud started to take off in 2016. And I stated that those values are going to come back to the 2019. Because the difference between 2019 and 2025 values by the CADs are fraud. It never happened. Ask yourself this question. What exactly happened on your house to cause its value to go up between 2019 and 2025, 100%? It's actually gone up in the last 5 years, never mind 19. Just in the last 5 years, up 100%, according to the CADs. The answer is nothing happened to your house, except the fraud that was determined outside of your purview. And on an interesting note as well, the amount of volume of transactions coming across my desk in the last 60 days is up over 30%. We're getting anywhere between 135 and 160 properties a day rolling through here. Most of it's garbage, right? Most of it is at cap rates that don't work. That's not the point. The point is the sheer volume of people that are in trouble is magnifying by the day. And somebody's going to say, well, okay, but Travis, you were talking about this 2 years ago, and now it's finally starting. It takes time because people are beginning to wake up to the fraud. The fraud was there then, and now the fraud is even bigger. And eventually, math wins.
Well, these homeowners are not winning, Mitch, and you were slightly off because as far as just Lennar, they're under 2019. So not only do they go to 2019, they went under that plus add 14% on top of that. And I'm going to jump into this article, but before I do, I want to watch a video first from someone that purchased a Lennar home at the peak in 2022 and apparently almost died because remember, you guys, not only are these prices plummeting, a lot of the reviews say if you're going to buy a new home, and I've also warned you of this, you better be careful because they are not building homes like they used to.
My home was deemed uninhabitable. I was told I need to get out. I can only enter the house if I'm wearing an N95 and PPE, which is personal protective equipment. I had to leave all my furniture, all my clothing, all my belongings because I was extremely ill. I was having daily nosebleeds, daily asthma attacks, bruising all over, GI upset with nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, brain fog, headaches, skin rashes. And then I went to my primary care provider who ordered a chest x-ray, and at only 27 years old, I was literally developing a scar tissue lung nodule because of how much mold I was breathing in. I left the house immediately and had to file a lawsuit because it needs to be repaired properly. The estimated cost of repairs exceeds $467,000 on a $300,000 house.
Coming out from Wolf Street, what it takes to sell homes, Lennar cuts average selling price below 2019 levels, and its home sales held up. Again, though, at the expense of all of the previous people that purchased those houses at a higher sales point. When they drop prices, they lock in those people. Homebuilder Lennar reporting earnings yesterday evening. Revenues for homebuilders fell 8.8% year over year in Q3. Incentives needed to make those deals jumped to 14.3% per home sold, which slashed its gross margin to 17.5% in Q3 from 22.5% year over year. Operating earnings from home builders plunged by 49%, net income plunged by 50%, and earnings per share plunged by 46%. But I want you guys to remember that 14.3%. Because that 14.3% represents, again, the incentives it took to sell. Because remember, I've been warning you, the Census Bureau doesn't report that. These home values for new homes, they're so ungrounded, it's shocking. The entire pandemic free money price spike got cut. The entire pandemic free money price got cut. It has begun. It has been starting for 2 years, but now the data has caught up with reality. Lennar's average selling price in Q3 dropped by 9% year over year to $383,000, below where it had been in 2019, and down 22% from price peak in Q3 of 2022. When fear of missing out, buyers were willing to pay whatever because money was free. And look at Q3 right here, guys, Q3 2019. So it spiked up 25. But remember, just because it went up 25%, we only needed to go down about 21% because 22% puts us, as you see here, below 2019 prices, which means all of the people to the left here that have been purchasing since 2019, all these people lost their equity, guys. All those people are trapped. And remember this, Lennar targets the mass market. It doesn't target the higher end. And this is what's confused so many people. This has been baked into the data. People who want to spend substantial amounts on custom built homes will likely choose a different builder. Lennar's homes are mass market products. They expand the supply of homes that people can more easily afford, and more supply and lower prices are exactly what this price-ravaged market needs. From Q3 2019 through the peak of Q3 of 2022, Lennar jacked up the average price by 25%. Lennar has now given up the entire price spike plus some, and the average price is now below where it had been in 2019. The message is lost on sellers of the existing home market. Single-family homes whose sales plunged by about 25% from 2019 and by over 30% because prices are too high and sellers are unwilling to budge, and home builders are now eating their lunch. Q3 of 2022, the gross margins was 29.2%. Q3 of 2025, it was 17.5%, which means they didn't have to raise the prices on us like they did. They could have dropped the prices down. The Q3 2022 gross margin of 29.2% was when money was still free. And when money was free, price doesn't matter, according to them. But we say it does matter, especially when money's free. And home builders went on ahead and cleaned out those fear of missing out home buyers and generated huge profits for themselves and massive mortgages for the home buyers. Lennar, like all home builders, figured the cost of incentives and mortgage rate buydowns into the average price per home sold. So all of the cost of those incentives are included in the purchase price. Remember us warning you about that? But incentives are not included by the census data when it reports on new home sales and bases its median price on the contract price of the deals. And that's contrary to IPCs, which is interested party contribution, and allowable seller contributions according to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And as a result of them not caring about that, that's what you get. You get millions of recent homeowners who are trapped in their homes. And Mitch Vexler, can you articulate what all of this means? Because there's bifurcated markets. There's existing and there's new homes. Can you explain what this type of price decline means for the existing home markets?
The existing home market is obviously going to end up having to keep up pace with the lack of demand, meaning prices are going down and you still may not find a buyer. The ultimate price is willing buyer, willing seller, cash basis, all else being equal. And until that all else being equal means equilibrium of the market, prices are coming down and will continue to come down, but it's what is called push. So it's being pushed now because of the fraud that was pushed up. And to that point, so that everybody understands, the greater the amount of time an asset, i.e. a house, sits on the market, the greater the cost of carry to the home builder, and the less the overall profitability to the company. How do you turn that around? Well, you jettison the oldest inventory quickly. And that means if you take a loss, it pays to take that loss on the older inventory. And as long as that keeps happening until the equilibrium comes back into the market, prices are going to continue to come down. Then on top of that, you have to look at the fraud that's been created in the last 5 years. And as I've been saying, that fraud must come out of the system in order for the system to either repair itself or never do what it's done, which is where we're headed. But the bottom line is, no matter how you look at it, those are two distinct different areas, A and B, going in the exact same direction, which is price devaluation. And that's what's going to happen.
But Mitch, it's a little bit worse when it comes to new homes that are not completely sold out yet, because that loss that you're talking about that the new home builder would make is a loss for the entire subdivision and every single homeowner in that subdivision, because they bring down the entire market of that subdivision, which is exactly what I'm going to show the viewers now. I'm going to show you guys what's going on behind the scenes by comparing and showing you guys builders fighting builders to sell houses, and then builders versus existing homes. And I'm going to show you how bad it really is when it comes to new homes. And I have the perfect market to do that in because I'm in Houston. But before I do that, I'm going to play this video. When I play this video, I'm going to have it muted because this guy goes on a profanity-laced rant. But what he's trying to explain to people, and this is a Lennar, this is a new build community, he's like, why are they putting sod down? You can't grow anything on this dirt. There's rebar, there's trash, beer bottles, and he's saying that this is a Lennar community, and he's also warning people, this is what you get if you buy a house right now. And watch him zoom in. He's like, you can't grow anything. Look at that. There's rebar. There's a rebar sitting there. There's trash. There's rocks. These homes aren't built like they used to be. I've been warning you what Lennar is offering in Houston. They're offering interest rates, look at this, at 1.25%. Lennar, right now, that's why I told people, even if they drop rates by 2%, it's not going to fix the problem, because Lennar has been offering a 1% this whole time, which is 5% under market. We got all the data right here. I mean, all you had to do is just keep your eyes open and you would be a little bit safer right now. Price is so important. Lennar's offering 1.25% for the first year, 2.25% for the second year, 3.25% for the third year. And then on the fourth year, it looks like here, it goes to 4.25%, but also people are receiving a $55,000 price reduction, and they're not even forcing people. They used to be like, yeah, you got 2 weeks to do this. Look, they got over a month, closed by 10/31/25. Now, I'm not saying to do this, but I'm showing you guys what they're willing to do. And look at this, a chance to win a $5,000 Pottery Barn gift card. Are you serious? When we go to New Home Source and we go to Houston, and I zoomed into this local area to show you guys in this small little area within a couple miles from each other. And in this little small area, they have 604 houses available. Is that not shocking to you guys? This is insane, you guys, because they're competing against each other. When I go to communities, they're saying there's 33 communities. Actually, I was actually off. There's 33 communities. And look at these price cuts right here. $59,000, $25,000, $30,000, $25,000, $25,000, $22,000. Look at this, another 25, 10, 8, another 25, $40,000 price cut, $59,000 price cut, $32,000, $32,000, $22,000, $40,000, $18,000. They are slashing prices because they have to compete with each other. Let me scroll out before I do that and show you guys what it looks like around Houston. So around Houston, we got 1,200 new home build communities, and this is underreported. And this is showing, let me see how many total homes. This is underreported. I've showed you guys several housing markets and several subdivisions where they have 2 to 3 times more inventory. So the minimum inventory is the point I'm trying to make. The minimum inventory in houses surrounding Houston are 14,000. And these are houses that are overvalued. When I go to the MLS, and we can also see the existing home market, this is the area. Here's 242 new home build communities right here. But when I scroll out, I want to show you guys that all of these existing homes right here in these neighborhoods, all of them have to compete with these new home builders. Here's another pocket right here on the right. Here's one north right here. But all of these people have to compete. Look at this. They got 141, 220, 53, 53, 26. All of these people are competing with one another. Mitch, so one of the reasons I brought that up for people is to show them it's not just Lennar. Lennar only has I think less than 1,000 homes of the 14,000 around Houston. So can you explain whether or not Lennar is the only home builder in trouble? Is it just Lennar, or is it the entire new home sector?
It's the entire housing industry because of the fraud. So the loss to the other subdivision owners in a new home subdivision is the loss of the fraud, because those buyers overpaid for the house based on the fraud when they acquired the house. In other words, they're going to get hit, they're going to lose a lot of money, and they're on the hook for it personally. But it gets worse in that if you want to sell your house and you go to a realtor, well, the realtor will use comparisons that the realtor will shoot to the downside on. So in order to get the listing, they say, well, we can get you X amount of dollars, knowing full well that they can't. And over time, they'll work the values down. The problem with that is just like the home builders that build new houses, you have a house that you want to sell for whatever financial reason. But if you're in a hurry to exit, you don't have that privilege of time from which to exit that house. It's costing you, just like it costs the new home builders. So that's what I said before. The equilibrium of the market will be self-fulfilling. The fraud will come out of this market by force if necessary, as in complete devaluation. It's coming. So the point is that per the document that Travis put together on the Teachable, explaining to people how to get their own comparisons, before you put a house on the market, best you understand how to get your own comparisons. You should not be trusting the realtors to tell you what it is, because they could be leading you down a path that is not achievable with the sole goal of getting you to sign a listing. And then 120 days, 6 months goes by, you still haven't sold it, and you're wondering what the hell happened. Well, you're being warned here right now what could happen. Best to be prepared.
And price decline, Mitch, is not the only indicator of recession, as we finally, and I've personally been waiting for this for like a year and a half, we finally have mass construction layoffs. Coming out September 22nd, 2025, which was yesterday, from Las Vegas Review-Journal, titled "Nevada Loses Thousands of Construction Jobs." Contractors Association says, and remember, 2 years ago, this is where I started. And another thing, I think I've been here. I flew my drone here. I parked on the side. I walked down here. It looks like an exact subdivision, but then again, they all look the same. But look at what this says. Nevada is losing thousands of construction jobs as tourism slows and economic uncertainty remains high. According to a new report, construction jobs were down 6.4% in Nevada, or 7,100 jobs year over year through August, according to a report from the Associated General Contractors of America. This puts the state 5th in the country for overall construction jobs lost. It's not even the biggest one, with California leading the state, which shed 16,900 jobs. Oh my gosh, that's a 1.9% job, followed by New York with 13,300 construction jobs lost. Holy smokes. Nevada leads the country in month-over-month decline in construction jobs from July to August, shedding 4,400 jobs in just 1 month. It's unraveling quickly now, guys. Pay attention, and that's a 4.1% drop, beating out New York, who shed in just 1 month 3,800 jobs, with Georgia at number 3. Remember, I went to Atlanta, Georgia as well, shedding 3,000 jobs. We also went to Washington, D.C., and look at that housing market. We have our fingers to the pulse of exactly what's going on. John Burns Research and Consulting showing the share of home builders that are reporting layoffs. And look at this. In Texas, 87% of all home builders reporting layoffs. Things are changing. Florida, 79. Northern California, 75. But nationally, look at this. Nationally, across the entire nation, 63% of all home builders are laying off people right now because they can no longer sell their homes. Let's listen to what these two aliens have to say about the United States economy, and then I'm going to ask Mitch, what the heck with Warren Buffett? Why do you buy all that Lennar stock? Shout out to Blake Weber for putting this video together. It's absolutely hilarious.
You want to know what I found out the other day?
What did you find out the other day?
Did you know the entire Earth is $315 trillion in debt?
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Who do they owe money to?
Bro, who are they getting money from?
It blows my mind that, first off, you have everything on the planet here to live for free.
You literally have everything you need.
And then you invent a system that creates a deterioration of your own resources.
You created a store of value that's literally storing less and less value every day. Every day.
And you're increasing your technology, and yet somehow you still owe money to someone, and it's $315 trillion. There's not enough paper to print that much cash. What are they doing?
Dude, Earth is like the worst meme coin. It's the worst.
It got rugged.
Mitch, I've been trying to figure out, and maybe we can figure it out now, but Warren Buffett just bought a lot of Lennar stock. Maybe not in the big scheme of things, but he certainly put, in my opinion anyways, a ton of money. And he purchased Lennar stocks. Little while later, they come out with a report like that, total chaos. Do you think that, either Buffett expects some type of home builder bailout, or does he expect Lennar maybe to go bankrupt so he could be the new owner of Lennar and maybe start building homes to rent?
Warren Buffett can do whatever he wants. So I just want to make a point. The $1 billion that he allegedly injected into the stock is like Warren Buffett dipping the toenail of his baby toe into the water. It doesn't matter. It's a blip in the ocean. And it does make a little bit of sense in that if you start buying now and then you start selling puts below, he can even lower his cost of that $1 billion over time. And generally speaking, Berkshire is a long-term player. So he may not necessarily be looking out today, a year from now, 2 years from now, but maybe 5 to 10 years from now. The question is, do the home builders sustain themselves during what is about to occur? Maybe, maybe not. Let's take the maybe not case at the moment. Well, Warren Buffett, Berkshire, owns Ally Beth Allman. They own Berkshire Hathaway, the real estate broker. Wouldn't it be interesting if in total, Berkshire could pick up Lennar maybe D.R. Horton through this process being one and or the other ends up going broke, he picks them up for pennies on the dollar as in fact the last debtor in possession. They need money, they go to Berkshire, give us money to stay afloat. He says, just like he did to Goldman Sachs, no problem, happy to keep you afloat. I want warrants. The warrants then become the exchange of the debt for the equity. In other words, he's able to pick off a company that could feed his other companies for pennies on the dollar. So the idea that he's got $1 billion at risk literally means nothing. He's just going to look at it. And by the way, he could, even if he lost, let's say 10% of that principal, because he gets tired of watching the game or he thinks the game's going to get cheaper, he literally could just buy it back. So he loses 100 million. He took the shot, no problem. If he wants to hang out for the long haul, then he's got a thesis in mind, and that's what he's doing.
Unbelievable with these people with this much money. I mean, they're the manipulation that they could achieve in the market and just over other people is shocking. That's why we're traveling around the nation. I hope you guys go to that Metro playlist. I mean, I put so much money and time in my heart and soul into that. And Melody Wright joined me for that as well. A ton of videos with her in that as well. Now, in conclusion, I want you guys to really think about what we're saying. We just found a house in the existing market in Houston, 42% in wedge. We just showed you Lennar new homes down under 2019 values. A lot of bad things are happening and people are not being honest with you about that. So here's how I want to end. Remember this, okay? Everyone in the financial market is a salesperson. Nobody is going, not even close. Nobody is going to care about your investment like you care about your investment. And so far, what the data is showing us, the longer that we wait and more that we prepare, the better deal that we get. Don't forget that, guys. Now, other than that, if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know we wish you luck and we hope you win.